two poor artists where we're poor at having the mind of a king, but mostly we're poor at making art. I'm Isaac.
And I'm Benj. So today, we're drawing the mind of a king.
Yes, indeed.
Yep.
Which apparently we're poor at having.
Yes. I don't really know what that means.
I think it means like the mind of a king. Like you think like a king does.
Mm-hmm.
You think about all the servants and the soldiers and the
Right. So like there's just
the royal diplomats that you have to
lots
schmooze.
of responsibilities.
Yeah, we don't have those.
No, we have
Poor artists' minds.
We have to write or not write, draw.
Yeah, poor artist
poorly.
responsibilities. Much more important than kingly matters.
Yes.
I mean, think about it. There are kings who have affected people during their reign, but there are artists who have inspired people generations past when they lived, you know? Like, people still see famous paintings and they're like, I still understand what that artist meant.
But don't people like also like read the writings of like, you know, for example, Solomon, you know, one of the great kings.
It's like one of the only kings, maybe. I think usually people read what a king wrote and they're like, man, this guy was crazy. Or they like learn about a king in history who like, you know,
like
the Mad King.
Good King Ludwig or whatever.
Mad King Ludwig. If you don't know the story of Mad King Ludwig,
I thought he was a good king.
He was. I mean, it depends on your definition, I suppose. I'll let you make up your own mind.
Building crazy.
From what I understand, King Ludwig was a king of, I think,
my role model. In fact,
he was the king of Germany, I believe. Although now that I say that, it sounds wrong. Did Germany ever have kings?
Don't look at us for like good history. Like we know the weird stories, not the like. You know, important stuff.
Yeah. He was the king of, let's see, I'm looking it up. Oh yeah, he was of Southwest Bavaria, Germany.
Bavaria.
Because apparently there's not just a king of Germany, there's a king of the southwest of Germany. But from what I understand of his story, he became king and he was just crazy. So he spent all of the kingdom's money on building like 3 castles, which most people, if you've ever seen a picture of like, you know, like a traditional looking castle, like the castle that inspired the Disney castle was one of King Ludwig's castles in Germany. So anyway, he spent like all the kingdom's money just on building castles for himself. And they're like weird castles. There's like hallways that don't lead anywhere, and you know, like
doors that just like open to the outside on the second
like
story.
Weird stuff like that. So anyway, from what I understand he became king, and he was just so nuts with the kingdom's money and basically bankrupted the kingdom that he was like declared insane by his like advisors. And then the day he was supposed to stop being king, he was found dead floating in the like pool outside of one of his castles
with the like therapist that declared him as insane. Like
really?
They were both dead in the same like river. So there's some sort of conspiracy going on there.
Of course, yeah. Like,
but I mean,
it makes for a good story.
I would blame his advisor.
But like realistically, again, even that crazy guy, he was an artiste. He created castles that people still look at today. They inspired Walt Disney. They inspire like you.
I mean, if you can inspire Mr. Walt Disney himself.
Yeah, exactly. Like, without him, we'd have like boring castles, you know, alligator moats and just like brick. It's gray, boring brick. I see you've given him the poofy pants of all kings and princes.
I realized this guy looks more like a prince than a king, but
I mean,
he never really upgraded his fashion.
He's like a new king, you know, like you don't become king and on day one you look like the king.
No, yeah.
It takes time.
Like you don't just like immediately get the gray beard and the gray hair.
You don't realize you're supposed to be wearing a cape and like, you know, multiple gold adornments. Yeah, like this is like he's still in the awkward teenage stage of being a prince. which princes never actually grow out of until they're king.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has like this, his throne is an interesting one that just like goes into the wall behind him.
Yeah,
and
it's
into
like
the stairs.
It's like carved into the...
Yeah.
It looks like he's just sitting on the steps outside of like
it looks
the castle.
like that.
He's like in timeout or something.
But it's not like that. Like this is super fancy.
It's just such a big throne that it's like part of the
and
castle.
Like we don't have color. Like this is gold and like it's real nice looking.
Make it like give it some shiny marks.
Like all over. Yeah. Even the stairs.
Yeah, exactly. Like now you can tell it's gold.
Yeah. Super fancy.
Even if you hadn't said anything, I would have known. Like if we make that the thumbnail, people will be like, "Why is there a prince sitting on golden stairs?"
Yeah. See, like it looks like stairs, but it's literally just that's how big the throne is.
It's settled. That's going to be the thumbnail for this video.
Very important.
I'll just make him like staring at the title.
That
way everyone knows it's about a golden steps. Yeah. But I don't know what this has to do with his mind.
Yes. Well, see, that's what this character over here is going to be for.
Nose first style. Just want to point that out to all the art historians watching. You can use this in your... we give full permission... Oh, he's blind. That's too bad. We give full permission to any art historian who's looking to write a textbook and a course on art to use this video in your teaching.
Yes.
We give up all those rights to use this video and play it in your educational class.
Yep. And if you want us to come speak at your college or, educational facility of choice.
Yeah, we'll be there. You know how like you always hear these crazy stories about like politicians and really famous people and how much they charge for a speech at a college? We would only charge like half of that at most. We might even settle for like lunch.
Yep. You give us lunch.
And you let us hang one of your our drawings in whatever university's gallery. It's pretty much we're very easy to please.
Yeah. Very easy to please.
Okay, so I get this guy either has an eye patch. Oh gosh, I just noticed his hand. I was gonna say he has an eye patch, but I was wondering what his hat was. Now I'm more concerned about why his hand is just gone.
He's a zombie.
Oh. What happened to his eye? Is it like missing?
It's missing, yeah.
Oh, okay. What happened to his lips? Oh, what the heck was that?
No, I don't know.
He just colored him in.
Try to figure it out.
It almost worked. Did the hand mangler get to this guy? Or is it just because he's a zombie?
He's a zombie. So, I mean, yeah, probably. How do you spell liege?
I can look it up for you.
It's one of those
my
words
liege
that you only use every once in a while.
I believe it is Liege. That's right. For all of you who know that we always spell things poorly, never say that we don't sometimes. Once every 100 videos, look it up.
Usually, I know how to spell word, but I just like write the wrong letter or something. But for the word liege,
it's like from a different time in history. No way.
I mean, we live in America. We don't even have to think about words like that.
Exactly, because we would never even have reason to say this. By the way, liege is just another word for lord or king. So, I mean, maybe we could, like, pray to Jesus and be like, my liege. But then I feel like that's just wrong. If there's, like, I don't know, medieval times version of the Bible, and I don't mean, like, the King James. I mean, like, it's written as if it was using all the medieval wording, it would
Right.
probably use my liege instead of lord.
Probably.
My liege,
Like a fake version, like
yeah, like you
like
ever
like
seen
when
like
you
those?
think of like the Renaissance festival,
Yeah.
like not like real old,
yeah, not
old,
real old timey, like what we think of it as.
yeah.
You know how like they did like those versions of Star Wars that were like Shakespearean style Star Wars? It's like that, but medieval. So the zombie's there to get his brain.
Yeah, but he's asking politely.
I mean, I've never seen a zombie so polite. And he's like waited for an audience with the king so he could ask.
Yep.
This is like the things that I feel like kings back in those days like did. Like, you know, they'd be like, bring in the next peasant, and they'd ask some request of the king.
Yeah.
This guy's just from like the zombie town, the zombie village, you know, down the way.
And like the king's probably gonna be like, sure, because he just assumes he wants to ask him a question.
Yeah.
You know, like if I came up to you and said, may I partake of your brain, you probably wouldn't assume I meant to eat it.
I'd probably assume something was up, but you're right. I probably wouldn't jump straight to that. Although if you were missing a hand and an eye and your brain was exposed,
yeah,
I mean,
you might assume.
But he's not. Look at your king. He's not even looking at him.
No,
He's looking straight ahead. The king can't be bothered to lay eyes on every peasant that presents himself to him.
He's just like looking at the line of peasants coming.
Like, oh man, this is gonna be a long day.
This is just what the first one in the line.
Yeah, little does he know he's gonna give permission for his brain to be taken, and this is the last peasant he's ever gonna see.
Yeah,
it's a shame too because he just became king. He doesn't even have time to be cool,
grow a gray beard.
Yeah, doesn't have time to get like a proper sword and cape and you know, pants that cover his knees.
Well, he's wearing like tights.
Okay,
you know,
I've thought about that, but still,
you know, like white tights that all princes wear.
Yeah, his hair hasn't quite, you know, grown enough to not be awkward length.
Yeah, it's not quite like the length of a king.
Yeah,
but it's also like
it's not short enough or long enough to be appropriate for a king.
Right. How unfortunate.
It is. But, you know, makes for a pretty decent drawing. I'd hang this on my fridge.
The proper place for all good drawings.
Yeah, like if you're a fan, just do something for us this week. Print out this drawing of Benja's and my drawing if
it's worth it.
If it turns out to not be terrible. Put them on your fridge and message us on Instagram or Facebook or wherever you want to message us. Email us a picture of it, and we'll post it on our Instagram or Facebook.
Yep, that's a promise that we're apparently doing. Watch, this will be the episode where we get like 1,000 responses.
This goes like viral, and we have to post like 7,000 pictures.
But we'll do it. We'll do it all
wholeheartedly.
No matter how viral this goes.
Yeah, you hear that, YouTube algorithm? Let this go viral so that we have to do that.
Yeah, even if all 300 million Americans, and then also people outside, we'll do it.
I mean, the people watching The Mind of a King are not American. They're like British and from Bavaria
Americans
and Germany.
Don't even look up the word king.
It's not in our vocabulary.
Nope.
Lieges, though.
Yes, of course. Lieges in every vocabulary.
As it should be.
Well, let's see what you're going to draw.
You know, you mentioned this earlier, but I'm so glad we don't have a king of America. That's all I have to say about that.
Okay. I mean,
I bet our fans from countries that do have kings probably, I don't know, if you're from England, people loved the Queen because, you know, she had corgis and she came out on Christmas and said some nice things.
Yeah, I don't think people really like the king very much.
I don't know. I don't get that impression either.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything good about him. I've heard people like making fun of him, but
yeah, I don't know. I feel like queens are more like easier to like.
Yeah, I mean, I think women are just easier to like.
Yeah, something about the word king just
like it
gives bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not. Nobody likes a king.
Right.
Like throughout history, there's just so many bad kings. I think that like.
Yeah, I mean
they get a bad rap.
The thing is, like,
as they should.
You can like, there's good kings. They happen all the time in history.
Name one.
King Solomon.
Other than him.
David.
Other than ones from the Bible.
King Arthur.
Even if you're giving ones from the Bible, like the majority of them.
Oh, yeah. No, see, but what I'm saying is, generally speaking, a good king doesn't really have time to raise their kids well. So if your next king is just automatically the son of your current king,
that's a good point.
They're not going to be very good. Like, so if you have a good king, it's not like, oh, automatically the next king's going to be bad, because they're, it happens, I'm sure.
What happens?
Like a king has a good son.
I'm realizing I don't really know what a crown is supposed to look like.
I think you drew those two spikes too close to each other.
I think I realized I was going to make that the center one, but it wasn't centered, so I had to make a center one.
So now you have to do another one right close too, so you have like three close. This is making me think it's more like a queen's crown though.
Yeah, but we're not drawing that, so it can't be that.
Because I feel like a king's crown is more symmetrical. And a queen's crown is more...
A queen's clown? What, her jester?
Queen's crown is more,
You know what the problem is? It's that I don't have my drawing glove. Do you see my drawing glove?
I don't. I see your not drawing glove. Wait, maybe your drawing glove is mixed in with it. There it is.
That's the problem. See, this crown is now the worst thing anyone's ever seen on top of a king's head.
It's not a saggy butt horse or anything.
Yeah, but it's not cool. I mean, I don't know. It's probably this king's not doing well, so this actually plays in relatively well.
Like his crown represents...
His crown matches his thoughts,
his mind
in a way. Yeah.
So you can just end this now and write the title.
You'd think that would be what I could do, but no, it's not what I can do.
Oh, okay. Basically, though, what I'm saying is we should have a king of America.
What? That's what you were saying?
Yeah. But then his son, and we shouldn't vote in this person. He should just take over. Because obviously, we've seen what happens when we vote in someone.
Kind of blasphemous, unpatriotic, un-American talk is this?
This guy should just take over America. But then he shouldn't make his son be the next king. Should just be like whoever kills him.
This sounds horrible.
Becomes the next king.
Why is this what you want for us?
I mean, it can't be worse than right now, right?
You say that until the leaders are just like encouraged to kill each other.
But at least the king, I could potentially become king.
Yeah, but then the next person would just really badly want to kill you.
Oh yeah, that's true. I would be okay with that.
I think you have a really bad vision for America. And this is going to be used in your non-election.
My non-election.
Yeah.
I think it's called Trial of the traitor that tried to take over America.
I promise to try to not make this thing look as soulless as it does right now.
Mm-hmm. I don't think that you're going to succeed. Those eyes are so creepy.
There's something off about this king, his crown doesn't quite sit, like it's not formed straight. His right eye especially, I'm realizing, doesn't look right, but it's okay. I'm going to fix it.
But are you?
Probably not.
Okay. Okay.
To be fair, those are the kind of eyes I was going for. So
Creepy
where
eyes.
does a nose go though? Noses are hard.
And like the middle of the face.
Does it? Are we looking at it straight on? Kind of like.
Yeah. See, I don't know how to draw noses straight on. That's why I never draw a person facing the audience.
This isn't the worst so far. Oh, that wasn't where that line was supposed to be. Now it has to go even further.
His nose, I mean, his ears are also off. So like everything about him is off. Like his ears are very off. Like if he were to buy glasses, he would just have the worst time.
That nose isn't what I was going for.
His nose is in the wrong spot. Both ears are in the wrong spot.
Yeah, I'm
Like, can you imagine that guy wearing glasses? The lenses would have to be above the ear
yeah.
arms, whatever those parts of the glasses are called. And like
I think-
look how far the nose is from the eyes. You do realize the nose starts where the eyes are, right? Like I'm wearing glasses, right? They're resting on my nose and they're right where my eyes are.
I've never worn glasses. I mean, other than like sunglasses.
Yeah,
I
but
don't-
you can look at me. Like look at me.
Ah, so you're saying the nose needs to go up higher?
Yeah. And the ears need to go up higher.
I can't do anything about this at this point. If we were fake terrible artists who did that kind of thing. Let's see.
This is also a pretty young king.
Well, it's gonna get better.
Oh, okay.
I say with little to no confidence.
Oh, he's very unsure of himself. Look at that.
Well,
Or he's eating something.
wrong button.
It's definitely one of those things.
It's not. See, I was going for something different.
No.
It was one of those.
What were you going for?
I was going for something that looked good.
Not nervous.
I don't know. It's hard to say what I was going for, but you do know the old saying
No.
that
I mean, I know what you're going to say, but it's not.
hair fixes a multitude of.
That might be true, but the way you draw hair, like,
Maybe I'll do it better today.
no, you won't. Look at it. Like, why is it
It's
like,
not supposed to look like Hitler, okay? I just started in the middle.
it's also just like weird stubble.
It'd be kind of good if I just left it like that.
like he's like patchy stubble.
You patchy in the worst way. It's just like you forgot to shave here. I'm just going to leave it like that for now, and I'm going to get to the main point of this,
Oh, okay.
which is the mind of a king. So you
Right.
drew the literal, like, his brain.
Yeah.
I'm drawing, like, his thoughts.
Oh, okay.
You know, like, thoughts of a king. Like, the things that go through, like, you know, a king's mind on a daily basis. Like your guy, he was thinking all about the line of peasants.
Yeah. They had to answer all the questions of or whatever.
Something like that. So what does my guy think of? He's like,
It's the problem of being the wisest person in the country
or just the most powerful.
by law. No, I mean, like you just declare yourself the wisest, and no one can disagree because you're the king.
Is that how it works?
I think so. I mean, that's what I'm gonna do when I become king of America. Just declare myself the wisest.
You have big ambitions. See, this one starts off pretty normal. Thoughts, of course, every king would have.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like why wouldn't they have?
Oh, you're actually making your thought bubble be a cloud. Normally, you just make them be circles.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, getting artsy with it.
Yeah, you're doing it the proper way.
I don't know what the proper way for thought bubbles are. Who determines that?
I mean, if you look up thought bubble, it's
It depends on
100%
like
of the
what you're
time
looking
it's a
for.
cloud.
Not always. In comic books, they're not clouds always.
They pretty much always are, unless they're just like squares that. Because if it's a regular circle, then you assume that it's talking.
That might be what I'm thinking of.
Like if the people around them can hear them, then it's a regular circle. See, I get around it by not doing a circle or a
Yeah, you just
thing.
do nothing.
I just do a line. But that's also a style that you'll find in some comic books. Usually like comedy sketch comic books, not like official ones.
You ever thought that we should make a comic book?
No.
Yeah, me either.
I mean, isn't that basically what we do? We do like Far Cry type comics
Far
all the
Cry?
time.
I mean, Far Side?
Yeah.
Far Cry is a video
Far Cry is
game.
a video game, yeah. Far Side.
Yeah.
The Far Side comics, that's like, we get a lot of inspiration from that type of comic often. Where it's just like one picture with one word, with one saying.
What else do kings think about?
I mean, this is like a young king with a patchy beard. So.
You know, arranged marriage.
Right.
He's so busy as king, he doesn't get to see her much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Neither of them like each other very much.
Of course not. No, she
But
just
like he has to like publicly
like they see
remember her name.
Exactly. They're like, yeah. When he's like introducing her to like the Duke of Weaselton, like this is
like from Frozen.
That's how I picture it working. I'd like to introduce you to, you know, my queen
Whatever.
Buttercup.
From the Princess Bride.
My knowledge about kings and dukes and queens is very limited to the movies I've seen, as I think it is for most human beings.
Right. At least in America, where we don't have a king.
Yeah, maybe other people out there are like, you know, they know more about like what kings actually think.
I mean, because they have a king. Like it matters to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like we like are like, oh, I wonder what the king's doing today, as like trivial knowledge. But to them, it's like, well, I hope he's not like, you know, starting a war or something, because that affects them.
Yeah, exactly. Because, you know, real king thoughts, but that's not as fun.
No.
Frozen, Disney, Princess Bride, you know. I'm also getting all of my thoughts about kings from movies and things I've seen.
Oh, has alligators in his moat.
If you are a king and you don't have alligators in your moat, you're doing something really wrong.
When I was in high school, we did like one of those things where you're supposed to like keep a budget or whatever. And we did it twice. And the first time I was like a garbage driver with like 12 kids. So I had no money. But the second time I was like very rich. I forget what I was. I was like a brain surgeon, and my wife was like also somebody rich, like a lawyer or something. And I remember I kept a pretty tight budget for everything else, but I bought that one castle that's in Arizona.
Oh yeah,
it's like, you know, and at the time it was
we do have one castle in Arizona,
and at the time it was only $3 million, so it wasn't even that expensive.
That's a bargain.
Yeah. Like you have to pay for all the bricks to be like cleaned all the time.
Yeah, but
so you have to have like a cleaning staff.
Once our hotel takes off, you and I should buy that.
Yeah, we should
fill it with our art.
But then I built a moat around it. You know, I like, you know, I just budgeted out all these things, And I also like paid off lobbying for making it legal for me to have alligators. That was part of my budget. And then I put alligators in the moat.
See, well worth it.
Yep. That was a fun assignment, just figuring out how much it would cost to, like, illegally have alligators. Legally.
I mean, again, the whole point of alligators in your moat is because once you have alligators in your moat, it's really hard for people to come and stop you from having alligators in your moat.
I think what I did was I, like, figured out how much it would cost to, like, make my land be considered like a alligator
like a sanctuary.
or something, and so, like, I
The only
just,
legal
like,
way to get away with having
exactly.
an enormous amount of alligators.
And I mean, when you're vastly rich,
Mm-hmm.
this is what you spend your money on.
Who's going to argue with that? No one.
Yeah, see, he's
I really
wondering
did-
if he needs to
I-
wear poopy pants because he's such a young.
See, I really did have every intention when we were talking. Yeah, you're very right, though. It's just like your guys, your king from your drawing. But I had every intention of giving this guy like a kingly beard, like we were talking about.
Right.
Like I had it all pictured. I like this facial hair so much more though that I'm just gonna leave it. Like I had all these plans to go back and finish the shading, but this is so much
this
better.
Guy is like my guy, but like a year later.
Yeah,
and he's
he's
like,
starting to figure it out.
The hair isn't quite growing, so he got it cut. And he's like, I gotta grow a beard because I'm gonna have to have the kingly beard. And it's just like, it's taking time, He's like,
it came in under one ear and just.
He doesn't get to choose how his hair grows.
I mean, I guess you're right.
Like, he's just trying to grow his beard out, and he's like 19 or whatever, and his hair he's like only barely gone through puberty.
This poor. He looks he's like teenage. Yeah, you're right. That's pretty much how it works, though. When you live back in ye old times, like you could be like 6 and suddenly become king.
Yep.
Because your dad went off and got himself,
and then
stabbed
someone
in
comes
some
up
war.
and says, "You got to start growing a kingly beard."
Yeah, exactly. And it's hard
And
when
it's
you're
like,
6 and every day
what
they're
about-
telling you, like,
Grow that beard.
and they're like, quick, wear this helmet that your father wore when he died. And it was clearly crushed a little because it's not quite symmetrical anymore.
Right.
We've replaced the 3 gems, though. Yeah. And here's your wife. You won't see her again for a long time. And her name is, and then like they walk out the door before you actually hear it.
Yeah, and you just like never figure it out.
Never.
Because you never see her.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's rough being young king.
I like how we can talk about this from experience.
I mean, we know these things. It's our art speaks for us. We've created our own world. Isn't that what all artists do? They create their own world, and whatever they say is happening in that world. Like an author of a book. They just you think they know everything that goes in that book? No.
Well, they do after
They
they
just
make
it up. And then they meet fans, and their fans are like, so on page 760, did you really notice that this contradicts with something written on page 463 of volume 4? And they're just like,
That's why
oh man.
my favorite writer, Orson Scott Card, he has like on his staff, he has fans that make sure that that double check his work that he's writing so that it doesn't contradict anything that he's ever written.
Brandon Sanderson, who's one of my favorite like fantasy writers, every one of his books now opens with like many pages of like him thanking people who helped him with his books,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like he's created like a whole universe with
Right.
multiple worlds that have different rules and stories, and like I feel like so many of these people are like people who just like keep track of that for him
Mhm.
and like help him like make sense of it all. Because there's no
Right.
way with how many books he writes to just like keep it all together, unless you have people who read this and they're like, actually you can't do this and this and this because
Mhm.
you forgot what you wrote in this book because you're writing the sequel now 10 years later or whatever.
Right.
But
Yeah, and he doesn't have time to reread all of his books every time he
no,
forgets
exactly.
something. But his fans do.
All that to be said, if we draw it, it's
It's
true
canon.
for our yes, exactly. It's canon in our art universe that
Mhm.
we are creating today,
Yes.
which apparently yours and mine somehow got linked.
Yeah.
Again.
Well, I mean, they're always a little bit linked.
It does seem to, well, they both have the same title.
Yes.
And we oddly, we noticed this in the years even before we were on YouTube, when we would draw things separately without even showing each other, that how often
Mm-hmm.
we would draw something and it would be like, wow, these really connect.
Like, in fact, the drawings are now more different.
Yeah,
because we watched each other draw.
yeah.
Back then, we drew separate and then came together, and it would be like the same drawing.
So often when
in
we're
different
drawing, the
styles.
person who draws first, the other one is like, oh, that's pretty much what I was going to draw.
Yeah.
Like today, I was like, I had an idea of doing like Frankenstein and Igor with him holding like a jar with the king's brain in it.
Right.
But now I was like, oh, I should probably do something different since you kind of went the, creepy
Yeah.
horror zombie route, which is pretty similar.
Right.
And then sometimes we just say we don't care and we both draw basically the same thing because that's the best we can do.
We can't think of anything else. That's funny.
This guy's beard is going to be a new thing. I think there's like a little piece of his beard falling off on the side there too.
Yep. This is gonna be the new style.
I also realized he just like doesn't have sideburns at all, and his head is
Mhm.
really big.
Yeah.
He just the crown hides it well.
Yeah, he has a horrible head.
It helps so that there's a giant crown on it somehow,
Yeah.
and just like a nest of hair for it to sit on.
Mm-hmm.
His eyes, though, are what I like. His eyes, they draw me in. They make you not look at his nose and his head and his facial hair and his ears being in the wrong spot. Just stare at that left eye.
Just the left. His left?
His
or-
right, our left.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can feel the conflict of thoughts in that one eye.
I definitely can see that he's conflicted. I mean, you can see that also in his mouth. Like,
Yeah, but
he's very nervous.
I only look at the one eye. It's my favorite part of the drawing if I had to pick one.
the one eye.
The one eye. See, really, if you're going to enjoy our art, you might have to do this. You might have to just like fixate on one tiny
thing
little
that's
speck of it
not the worst.
that you can just you can tell your friends like, look at this painting, and they're just not painting. Sorry, that was whoa. Look at this drawing, and they're like, this is terrible, but they're like, no, look at the left eye.
Mm-hmm.
Just ignore everything else.
I mean, I do that all the time with your, the Renaissance drawing. I'm like, look at this, and they're like, that's terrible. And I'm like, yeah, but just look at the saggy butt of the horse.
No, that's the opposite. You have to find something else in that. Haunts me.
No,
that drawing.
That's the reason
Oh.
that drawing exists.
Well, let's just not talk about it anymore.
That's legitimately my favorite drawing of yours.
It is pretty fantastic. Although this guy's left eye, the left eye on him,
I just can't wait until we're so popular that people are copying this facial hair.
like it
It's like
inspires
a popular trend.
This is legitimately like you ran out of time to shave, like, and your mirror was broken
Mm-hmm.
because he missed a piece. And he decided to keep the mustache for some reason. He decided to keep the mustache because he ran out of time, and he didn't know about the part by his ear because his mirror is clearly
There
on
was
the
like a
fritz.
crack there. He thought he got it.
big piece of the mirror missing. Because that's how mirrors work.
In that spot.
Yeah, because
You
that's
can't move your head around.
yeah, it's a very small mirror.
Yeah. Well, it's not very. It's exactly the size of his head. Because if it's very small, then he would move the mirror.
I still think, like we said, this is worthy for your fridge. So this is what you need to do now. You need to go tell your friends, tell your enemies, print it out, put it on your fridge. It makes good conversation piece, if nothing else.
If you don't think it's worth putting on the fridge, most washing machines are also magnetic.
My new dishwasher is magnetic.
So, just put it somewhere.
Until next time.
Bye.
As always, we're surprised you made it this far into our video.
There's no way we could possibly ask you to subscribe to this atrocity, so we won't.
We would say share it with your friends, but it's probably better for wasting your enemy's time.
We're probably not going to get any better, but we will keep drawing.
See you next time.